Now, life in prison, that's what Lil Mosey faces if he's convicted. Pretty crazy situation going on with Lil Mosey right now. It's a really big deal at the moment. Everyone's talking about it. Some accusations have came to the surface and things are definitely not looking good for him. So yeah. Let's talk about it. Now, Lil Mosey, a 19-year-old rapper out of Washington, Seattle, who's been doing his thing in the industry for a little bit of time. He has a couple really big songs, one of them being Blueberry Faygo that blew up last year. Anyway, let's just get straight to it. Yesterday, some news came out regarding Lil Mosey, and that news was this. Lil Mosey charged with rape. Wanted by police. Lil Mosey is reportedly wanted by police in his home state of Washington. According to a report from TMZ on Thursday, April 22nd, the rapper born Lathan Eccles has been charged with second-degree rape stemming from an alleged incident in January of this year, and due to his failure to appear in court on Wednesday, April 21st, he is now wanted by law enforcement. The Blueberry Faygo rhymer was reportedly charged with second-degree rape several weeks ago ahead of this week's scheduled court date. Like the article said, Mosey was supposed to appear in court the other day after being charged with second degree he didn't show up to his court hearing, and after that is when a warrant for his arrest was put in place. Now, regarding the actual story, what actually happened? Well, this is what allegedly happened. Two girls went to a cabin to see Lil Mosey, and that's when it all went down. This was, like they said, back in January. One of the alleged victims says that she gave consent to having sex with Mosey in a car. She then stated that she blacked out after drinking alcohol and champagne. A short time later, according to her, Lil Mosey allegedly got on top of her and pushed her legs apart while he was having intercourse with her. She then also stated that she recalled having pain in her legs while the whole thing was going down. She also states that she blacked out once again, woke up to find another man forcing himself on her. In the affidavit, which is just another word for a written statement that someone makes after promising to tell the truth, the alleged victim says that she suffered injuries like bruising on her arm, on her neck, and also on her inner knee. Last but not least, she also stated that she got a message from someone at the party that apparently said that the guys were talking about quote-unquote training two girls. Not sure what that specific part really implies or who it's really aimed at or who it's from. Like I said at the beginning of this video though, if convicted, Lil Mosey faces a maximum sentence of life in prison. So yeah, that was a lot, wasn't it? And obviously I do have a couple things to say about this. The first thing being charged doesn't mean convicted. So these are still allegations. Please keep that in mind. I wasn't there, you weren't there, so let's keep that in mind as we're going through this entire situation. One thing that really, and I mean really, raises unnecessary suspicion on Mosey's part is the fact that he failed to show up for his court hearing. Hypothetically speaking, if Lil Mosey is innocent, which he could be, which he could not be as of right now, I'm not sure. However, if that is the case, then not showing up to the court hearing was a very big mistake. An accusation like this puts you as a person, in this case Lil Mosey, it puts him in a state of reacting. He now has to explain himself. That's what happens during cases like this. Not only do you have to explain yourself and prove to a judge why you didn't do this, but not showing up to a court hearing raises a lot of suspicion, which leads to you being at a huge disadvantage even before you enter that courtroom. That's number one. Number two, as I'm looking through this entire situation, one thing that I think could either save or destroy Lil Mosey is this thing right here. I'm talking about the supposed text messages the alleged victim claims she received. Do they actually exist? Do they not exist? Best believe that the police will find that out, and two things could happen here. If those text messages exist and they in some shape or form incriminate Lil Mosey, meaning one of the guys ends up being Lil Mosey, that's when it's looking very scary for him. I'm no lawyer, okay? I'm just a guy who talks about hip-hop, but the way I'm looking at it, that's what we call a motive. If those text messages exist, that's really gonna put Mosey at the defense big time. No doubt whether or not the police are gonna find out the truth about that, they're obviously also gonna have to do the whole cell phone tower checks, see if the affidavit, the statements from the alleged victims lines up with Lil Mosey's whereabouts that night. They're probably gonna do some kind of iCloud sweep. Any pictures, any videos, any texts that were taken or shared that night will be recovered if they exist. All the people present at that cabin will be interviewed, statements will be pouring in by the second. They're gonna cross-check stuff, see if the story is consistent and all that. And also one thing that comes to mind, things are going to get really blurry if everyone at that cabin was intoxicated. The alleged victim did say that she blacked out after drinking, which I believe is going to lead to the police trying to figure out if there might have been something in that drink. Since this was in January, I'm not sure if any of the injuries the alleged victim might have are already healed. In that case, they're probably going to have to do some kind of medical check just to see if those injuries actually existed. In a case like this, there's her truth, or should I say their truth, since it's apparently two girls girls we're talking about here, but only one of those girls, it looks like, has given an official statement. But anyway, there's also his truth, and then there's also the truth. Lil Mosey is obviously on the defense due to the nature of these accusations, so he's gonna have to prove that this didn't happen. I'm not sure how all this is gonna play out for Lil Mosey. After all, we're talking about some serious accusations. This could literally go anywhere. As the police start collecting statements, as they do their investigation, we will find out what really happened in that cabin. But until then, things are obviously up in the air. He's been charged with the crime, not convicted, but the reality is it's not looking good at all for Lil Mosey. Whether this is true or not, it will have some kind of effect on his career. If not that, this could potentially ruin his entire career. Serious charges like this don't just go away. And keep in mind, since he's now charged, obviously the alleged victims are obviously standing behind what they're saying in their affidavit. Again, the outcome could end up both ways, but I think it's safe to say that it's looking very bad for Lil Mosey. But yeah, the Lil Mosey story, there you have it. Pretty unexpected, I'm not gonna lie. If Lil Mosey gets convicted for the crime, he faces a maximum sentence of life in prison. What do you think about this situation though? Definitely let me know in the comment section below and let's have a discussion about this.